Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Hope you guys have been having an incredible day so far. We've got a couple of dedications for this episode of EP Live. Thank you for joining us. If you are live in the chat room, we will get to you very soon. But first shout out goes to the Thailand cave rescue, where all of the soccer players and the coach were saved, and all of that incredible work from fearless divers out there, and the Navy SEAL, the Thai Navy SEAL guy that lost his life. Tragic. It's awful. But God, what a heroic accomplishment, and what a way to instill hope in the entire human population that has been watching all of these dramatic events unfold. So fantastic news there. Also, Krillin64, who sent us a nice note about our This Day and Everything Cool segments. He loves that we do these videos every day, and Donkey Kong was a big part of his history, so he particularly enjoyed that one. And that's why he gets the dedication. Let's get started with your rundown. The smoothest scoundrel in the universe is returning to a galaxy far, far away. Billy D. Williams is reportedly set to reprise his role as Lando Calrissian in Star Wars Episode 9. No official announcements have been made, but according to The Hollywood Reporter, Williams will appear in the new film and will be present on set when shooting begins this fall, although it's unclear how big his part will be. This will be his first time appearing on screen as the character since 1983's Return of the Jedi, although he has voiced Lando in recent animated adventures like Star Wars Rebels. The character was last played by younger actor Donald Glover in the prequel Solo: A Star Wars Story, but given the failure of that film, don't be surprised if his version of Lando doesn't return. As for Billy D. Williams, he might be the only big cast member from the original trilogy to appear in Episode 9, although we'll have to wait and see. It hits theaters in December 2019. This does sound like it's going to be fun to see Lando back on screen. I kind of wish that we had seen him a little bit earlier, maybe even with Harrison Ford as Han Solo. But it's going to be great to see him in the role again. Definitely. It's one of the things that I am absolutely most excited about for Episode 9. I wish that I was more excited for the movie, though. And it's not like The Last Jedi. I've said it many times. I didn't hate that movie. There's lots that I like about it, but it really kind of poked the air out of all of the stuff that connected us to the trilogy that I know and love. Episode 4, 5, and 6. It sort of just tied a bow around all of that stuff. So Lando coming in and he's kind of lonely in Episode 9. Without seeing the movie, I'm excited that he's coming, but I wish that it was with the rest of the team. I can't help but feel that. But you know what? I have faith in J.J. Abrams. I think that he's going to be able to turn some of this around for sure and make something very cool. I have hope. I still have hope for Episode 9, but we will see very soon. Now, it's not the mileage, it's the years. The fifth Indiana Jones movie has been delayed yet again. Disney has announced that the long-awaited fifth film in the franchise will hit theaters on July 9th, 2021. Just a few weeks ago, rumors surfaced that the film was being pushed to 2020, so this is an entire year longer than many were expecting. No official reason has been given for the push, but there are reports that director Steven Spielberg wanted more work to be put into the screenplay, which has pushed the film back past several other projects that he has on the way. If you're wondering, the delay means Harrison Ford will be 77 or 78 years old during filming and will be turning 79 just a few days after the movie hits theaters. We got to get this movie made, guys. This thing's got to happen. I'm getting a bit worried for my boy Harrison Ford here, man. This is getting crazy. I'm still excited to see new Indiana Jones, don't get me wrong. My theory is increasingly growing that we're going to get some de-aging technology happening in Indiana Jones 5, and I don't mean to sound ageist or anything like that. Harrison Ford's has been awesome in the recent stuff that he's been doing. He's been fantastic on screen. I have no doubts that he's going to be able to pull off a great performance. He's still very, very with it, and I'm excited to see what comes of this. But yes, it will start to seem a little bit ridiculous if he's close to edging on 80 and throwing his body around. So I think that we're going to be seeing some de-aging technology. And maybe some kind of a passing the torch. We'll see. If any two people in the world can pull this off, it's Steven Spielberg and Harrison Ford, so we'll see what happens here. We may be seeing the Game of Thrones spin-off series sooner than you might think. The secretive new prequel show is reportedly set to begin filming this fall, which means it could be hitting the airwaves as early as next year. The Belfast Telegraph reports that staff at the city's Paint Hall Studios, where Game of Thrones is filmed, have been told that the prequel series will be their next project, with a tentative start date slated for this October. If the news is true, it means the prequel could premiere in late 2019, just after the 8th and final season of Game of Thrones finishes up. Then again, there's no telling how long production and post-production will take. HBO hasn't said exactly what the prequel series will be about, but given the scale of the show's fantasy realm, there are loads of possibilities. Expect more details soon. This sounds great. I think that we saw something kind of similar with Better Call Saul coming out after Breaking Bad, but I feel like they need at least a year to kind of hype us up and to let us know who the cast members are and some of the story threads and stuff. And they're probably going to, even do some connective tissue in the last few episodes of Game of Thrones as well, maybe even some flashback sequences or something. But this world is enormous. It's absolutely a great move on HBO's part to kind of keep us in that realm. It's been very weird to have this big delay, as it always is, between seasons of Game of Thrones, especially because it's percolating in the news right now. You've got Maisie Williams popping up with blood on her shoes, and everybody showed up for Jon and Rose's wedding, which is kind of cool. I am psyched for new Game of Thrones, and I am psyched for the prequels. I think they're going to do something really special there. Fingers are crossed. And whatever the new Game of Thrones series ends up being, it's coming amid some big changes behind the scenes. HBO is going to alter direction now that their parent company Time Warner has been acquired by media conglomerate AT&T. The New York Times reports that longtime AT&T executive John Stankey, who was just put in charge of Warner Media and HBO, recently held a closed-door meeting with HBO bosses where he outlined a new direction for the network. He says that they need to do a better job of embracing online streaming and make it easier for viewers to watch their content, which will increase their subscriber base and the number of hours viewers spend watching every day. Although HBO already has their own streaming service, HBO Now, it's not as easy to use as rivals like Netflix and Hulu. It's worth pointing out the reason why AT&T wants more eyeballs on HBO content. According to the New York Times, Stankey specifically pointed out that the more hours viewers spend watching, the more data and information AT&T will be able to collect about them, which can then be sold to advertisers. This is what some people were worried about when a big service provider like AT&T set out to buy a content creator like Time Warner in the first place. Yes, all of these conglomerates where we're seeing a lot of the people that kind of have all the tracks into our houses, when they're involved in buying all of the content, and then there's all of these other conglomerates that get involved with these corporations in terms of advertising and sharing of data and stuff. It does get to be really kind of slippery, and we have every right to be concerned. They own the pipe that gets us all of this information, and so if they're collectively trying to figure out what that content is and who's using it and who's watching it and sort of selling all of that information back and forth, gets a little bit sneaky. And I would expect that there's going to be some pushback on this. It's a very, very interesting time because it's very easy to capture specific data about users, as we're seeing in the news every single day, with people accessing all of this content online. It's very easy to target and to kind of track us. And hopefully there are some groups and some bodies out there that have our backs on some of this stuff, and that the content makers aren't sort of put into a bind where they're just trying to, keep us glued to screens just so there is this user acquisition and this user data acquisition. Interesting days that we're about to go into here. And, I think that all of us fans of HBO really care about is that it doesn't really have a massive quality downgrade because of it. We don't want the series to get worse because there's just this new effort to just flood the markets. We want HBO stuff to be the top stuff, the best in class. But we're going to see. All right, the next WWE game won't be entering the ring on the Nintendo Switch. Publisher 2K Sports has confirmed that this year's WWE 2K19 will not be released on the Nintendo system. In a statement to Power Up Gaming, 2K says that the game is not coming to the platform because they're focused on making the best possible experience for WWE fans. The last entry, WWE 2K18, was released on the Switch a few months after its debut on other platforms, but it suffered from crippling technical problems like bugs and a poor frame rate, which made it a flop. Rather than fixing the problem, it seems 2K is just going to skip the system altogether, although they say they will continue evaluating opportunities to deliver the franchise on additional platforms, so it may return to the Switch at some point in the future. WWE 2K19 will smack down on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC this October. I didn't play 2K18 on the Switch. I'm not the hugest wrestling game fanatic out there, but I did read about the problems that plagued the game, and it was a very easy target for people to point at and say, wait a second, this Switch isn't as powerful as everybody thinks it's going to be. This machine is just going to have, lesser than ports out there. And you could certainly look at things like Wolfenstein 2 and Doom and other titles and stuff to kind of paint the picture that the Switch just can't keep up. And realistically, it doesn't have the horsepower of the other systems, but what it does have is this ability to take it with you everywhere. And it is going to be interesting to see if we're going to see developers and publishers have to carve up their IP and create kind of, I'm not going to use dumbed down, but maybe more mobilized versions of their software so that they can get onto the Switch platform. The Switch is still growing, it's still building an install base, it's a very successful platform. It would be silly for publishers to ignore this machine, but it does become a major expense if suddenly you're going to have to port this game that you've been building for more powerful systems to the Nintendo Switch and have it run optimally. And it's not easy to do this. We're finding out with things like 2K18 that developers are kind of struggling a little bit with this. It's either like what we saw with FIFA 18 and even the Switch version of NBA 2K18, there were some concessions made to bring that software over to the Nintendo platform. It can be done. It absolutely can be done, but it is something that you have to go into it with, I think, a little bit of expertise and a little bit of kind of awareness of what the player base on the Nintendo Switch is looking for. It's not just making it a mobile game that you can slap controllers on. It's got to be better than that. Anyways, let's move on. Let's go back in time to take a look at this day in everything cool. Welcome to This Day and Everything Cool for July 10th. I Heard You Were Dead. On this day in 1981, one of the coolest action movies and coolest action movie heroes debuted in theaters. John Carpenter's Escape from New York hit theaters across North America, starring Kurt Russell as the legendary badass Snake Plissken. The story takes place in the not-too-distant future of 1997, when New York City has become a walled-in maximum security prison for an oppressive police state. Snake is forced to go into the prison in order to rescue the President of the United States, who crash-landed. The film, like a lot of Carpenter's other work, contrasts the bleak story and visual style with cool action and characters, making it a fun yet slightly depressing experience. It's also worth pointing out that a lot of the visual effects in the film, which were produced on a shoestring budget, were created by a young special effects artist, James Cameron, who went on to direct The Terminator a few years later. Escape from New York became a moderate success in theaters, but eventually established itself as a cult classic on home video. Today, it's remembered as one of the finest films in the genre. Oh my God, do we ever need a Snake Plissken video game? That would make us so happy out there. Good to see everybody in the chat here. We've got Timberwolf and Paul Adamson and the Wren and Abby Jameson, Patrick Furtado, Wesley West, Blade Blur, great to see you, Vaz Vegas, Kevin Wiley, great stuff in there. A couple of good comments here I picked up on. The Wren was talking about, you're only as good at the Indiana Jones story that we had today. You're only as good as your last day worked, and the last indie made me cringe. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. I still want indie. What can I say? And I am going through the withdrawal. We have Timberwolf saying, I can't be ageist because I'm almost as old as Harrison Ford. Nice burn, buddy. But it's okay. It's all right. That's fine. Great to see Paul Adamson in there, and There's the whole host of everybody. I clicked on the wrong thing. Chris Smith, Doy Owen, fantastic. All right, listen, I want to talk a little bit about Destiny 2. I got the collector's edition for Destiny 2 when the game shipped. Thank you, Activision and Bungie. And the way that I reviewed the game is there was a review event, and I got to play through the game in Seattle. And my review is on the channel. You can watch that anytime that you want to. I had a great time. Story short, I had a great time playing Destiny 2. And because it was a collected experience, I had lots of people that I knew from the video game space in multiplayer and Crucible and in some of the strikes and stuff and at public events. It was fun. It was a great way to kind of engage with it. And then, of course, that wasn't saved to my profile, so I had to play the game again. And I did start to play it again. I played it a little bit. I got it on the Xbox One X when Microsoft sent the new console to me for playing the games and reviewing stuff. Thank you, Microsoft. And so I started to play a little bit on the X. I haven't played it on PC, but I've definitely gone back to the game a bunch of different times. But it's been kind of shelved, like most of the stuff that I review, because I have to kind of move on to what's next for me. And so I did do that, and I kind of didn't go back to it. But now there's all this DLC. Warmind is the most recent DLC that came out not too long ago. And, of course, the Forsaken DLC is coming out this fall. So Destiny 2 hubbub is percolating. And Forsaken was one of the only things that Activision actually had at their booth when we were at E3. And so I was like, okay, I got to go back. And for whatever reason, because I have other games that I need to be looking at and reviewing, and I'm going to be, kind of shelving Destiny 2 again, I went back. And so I started playing the game again a couple of weekends ago. And I started to get into the groove, and I completed the campaign, and there was this addictive kind of loop going on. I played a little bit of Crucible stuff, but to be honest, I'm not the kind of gamer that really wants to spend tons of time, not because I don't like it, but I don't want to spend tons and tons of time just leveling up and grinding my way through multiplayer matches. They're fun, and they're accessible, and they're a nice break from the sort of PvE sort of grinding that you do in Destiny. When you look at the totality of what's offered, it's pretty impressive that you get all of the Crucible stuff. You get the raids, you get the public events, you get the patrols, and all of that stuff gets expanded upon with the DLC, the Curse of Osiris. You're introduced to this old guardian that kind of rebelled and chased down this crazy AI creation that the Vex is trying to use time travel, and I can't explain this story to you, by the way, so I'm not even going to try. But you chase after Osiris, and you chase after this Vex that has created this environment called the Infinite Forest, and it's kind of like a virtual thing, but you can really die, and I hate when they use that pretext in video games, because you're playing a video game, and if you talk about virtual kind of reality in a video game, it's like Inception or looking into a mirror, and it just sort of squashes any kind of sense of removing your disbelief, because suddenly you're reminded you're playing a video game. Anyways, and I also didn't like the level design too much of the Infinite Forest as well. It was like a lot of, it was kind of empty and gray, and then there was like Tron grid patterns and stuff like that. It felt a little bit unfinished, but I liked the Osiris character. I thought that was pretty cool. And what I did dig about playing through Destiny again and getting back into Destiny 2 and completing everything is every second night or every second time I would jump in, somebody would I wasn't inviting my friends, because everybody that loves this game is kind of sick of it. They played it to death and they're moving on. But people are still playing this like crazy, and they're level 30, which is the new cap after Warmind, and they're still jumping on, and they're helping out other players, and they're grinding. And I had people just join me. Some people that knew who I was and what I do, and some people that didn't. And everybody was super cool and super nice. And I was chatting just over the, I didn't plug the headset in, I didn't stream it, but I was chatting over the camera mic. And we got into some good conversations, and I kind of picked up on the social fun of Destiny 2, and it really hit me that it's a lot of mindless repetition in the sort of core game design of this. You don't really get that when you just play the launch game. You get a nice, tasty buffet of little assorted entertainments, But when you reach the level cap, and you're grinding, and you're trying to get the better weapons, and you're grinding, and you're playing multiplayer, and you're beating up, it starts to feel like, at least for me, someone that is really addicted to games that tell a story and have a conclusion, and I feel like there's a narrative progression every time I jump in. Destiny 2 kind of didn't do that for me, but I recognize the value in the social connection and having conversations while blasting all of these different bad guys. So it was fun to kill some Vex and Curse of Osiris. It was kind of over and anticlimactic, and it was like, okay, leveled up past 25. It seemed to be not a trouble at all. I wasn't struggling at all. And then with Warmind, they go to level 30, and I just, I kept grinding a bit. I had to sort of level up a little bit more and get my power up to 300. I think I was at like 280 or something after Curse of Osiris. So that wasn't a big deal. I did some public events and some patrols. I didn't do any of the strikes or raids, mostly because I'm not playing with a clan or a group of people. I think that it's kind of unfair for me to review the entirety of the experience because I'm not doing all of that stuff, and that's a big core, component. And I know the people that are happiest with Destiny 2 are the people that gather together and collect in a group and go off and do these raids. I got into Warmind, and Warmind is, I'm still playing a little bit of it, but I'm having a little bit more fun with it. You're on Mars, which is a cooler environment. You're dealing with these acolytes, which I'm not crazy about. It feels like there's always this mutated form of different creatures that we've seen repeated, but they're now mutated and they blow up in different ways. Some cool bosses, though, that I've been able to take down on my own. And the last time that I just jumped in, which was just this morning, actually, somebody just jumped in and helped me take down this pretty big sort of priest of the main boss or something like that. It was fun to destroy that character. And I was hung up on a section in the game. I hit this choke point where I had to play it over and over and over again until I got past it. And the way that I got past it was kind of cheeky. I sort of backtracked a bit to the edge of the map, and then I got past it, and I felt pretty good. And so I did have fun, but one thing that I definitely wanted to share with you guys is that now I'm very much aware of the emptiness that this game kind of gives you, especially if you're not playing this in a group, especially if you don't have a gang of people getting online. And then now they have these escalation protocols, which are kind of like a horde mode that's built into Destiny 2. And there are many more environments. There are many more cooler weapons and stuff. So I feel like the best way to approach this game, unless you have a clan, unless you have a bunch of people that you play with all together and you can kind of chat and destroy the bad guys with, is to not do what I just did, which is just consume it all and just try to level up and get addicted to it. And I was addicted to it. And I didn't feel especially good about the fact that it was sinking its claws into me because it doesn't feel like it's narratively that satisfying. And I tweeted out over the weekend that I would love Bungie and BioWare to work together to build something maybe in the Mass Effect universe or something. I know it's never going to happen, but this is missing a component of you dealing with, challenges or objectives where it's not just blasting at them. The fact that we have some decently animated cut sequences that kind of set up some of the characters and some of the stories, and then it goes right away to your POV and your gun is there, and that's how you're going to deal with everything, is just so limiting. And I know that it's a lift on all of the great work that Bungie did with the Halo franchise, and it's looping in a lot of learnings from MMOs and all that stuff. But it just doesn't feel refined enough. The story doesn't feel compelling enough. It feels too convoluted. I'd like these characters to do more things than just, get into firefights over and over and over and over again. So my suggestion is that this is still a very fun game. It's still worth your time, and I'm excited to see where Forsaken is going to go. I'm not especially blown away by the content that I've been able to see in the Curse of Osiris or Warmind. I appreciate when I have a better gun. I appreciate that the game has got its hooks into me, and I'm like 329 or 3. It blows me away that I've been, so caught up in this game. But I do feel like it's time to put this to bed, and I'm going to walk away and play some other things. So if you're kind of like me, and you don't relish the idea of collecting a little team together and playing this thing all the time, I would say it's still worth your time. Wait till Forsaken comes out. Wait till there's a Game of the Year edition of Destiny 2. It's going to be fun for you to kind of appreciate all of it in one, better priced escape. And don't consume it all in one go because it's going to start to feel numbing. But if you are playing with other people online. You're probably already playing Destiny 2 and you're having a pretty good time with it. But I do feel that with the amount of attention and the amount of love and the caliber of the developers and the expectation and all the talk about the money that's gone into building this franchise, it should hit with a greater impact. So I'm not crazy about Curse of Osiris. I'm not crazy about Warmind. I'm still addicted to Destiny 2, but I gotta tell you, I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2 in the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours of me playing it with another screen, just playing like podcasts and things like that. So I've been listening to things as I'm just taking care of bad guys. And that to me says that the game is not compelling enough to just take all of my attention. So I don't really have a final score I can put on all of this stuff. Just, I wanted to have a little dialogue, a little discussion with you guys about that. But I think if I had to put this experience at a number, I would probably say 7.5 now. So it's gone down a little bit, and it's mostly because of all of the repetition that has gone into this last, I don't know, 20 hours of core gameplay experience. But right now, it is time to take a look back in time at a buried treasure. Rockstar Games has done a lot of funky things over the years that, of course, had massive success with Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption, but they also made a game called Table Tennis, and it was pretty damn good. It was a ping-pong simulation game, and the mechanics were a little bit tricky. It definitely challenged you, and you could unlock new paddles and new outfits and stuff like that as you got better at the game. But the core mechanics, once you understood them, really opened up the experience. Of course, it's lifting off on the old, core Pong experience that has been a part of video games since its inception. But table tennis obviously augmented stuff with some pretty state-of-the-art visuals at the time. It's dated now, but what is cool about table tennis is that it's one of the backwards compatible titles for the Xbox One platform. Came out on the 360, and it was fun to play. It took a little bit, it was a little obtuse. It took a little while to kind of, figure out positioning and where your character was and how to, get the timing right and everything. But once you got it down, you felt like a ping pong rock star, if you can feel like a ping pong rock star. If anybody's going to make you feel like a ping pong rock star, it's actually Rockstar Games, and they did that, and that's why table tennis is probably the only ping pong game you'll ever need in your whole life, and it's also a buried treasure. Hey, we got a new picture of somebody that picked up an EPN t-shirt. I just wanted to give Dennis Leteric a big shout out right there. And he also tweeted out that he's been having some health issues and he's dropped 30 pounds. And some days he's in a lot of pain. I don't know what's going on with you, Dennis, but I hope you're feeling all right, my friend. And you look good in the picture. That's all I can tell you. And the blue of the t-shirt, that's the first sort of lighter blue EPN shirt that I've seen, and it looks damn good, doesn't it, Blake? Yeah, it looks really slick. I dig that. Okay, we have got, are we going to the review now? Yakuza interview. Oh, the Yakuza interview. Oh, we got so many things in this show today. All right, you guys, just before E3, Blake and I got a chance to meet up with Sega to find out what's going into Yakuza Kiwami 2. Let's take a look.
桐生さん、俺たちのために死んでくれ。頼む。
We're here at Sega's Cool Lounge playing all kinds of awesome games, and this is Scott Strickart, who is the localization producer on the Yakuza games. Kiwami 2 is almost upon us. You guys have been fast and furious with the Yakuza games recently. What's been going on with that? Why this sudden surge in Yakuza-ness?
So we've been playing catch-up since Yakuza 5 came out, and we more or less had to get that game just into the market. And that game came out in at the end of 2015 after a Japanese release in 2012.
Yeah.
So we've had a long time to have to kind of get caught up.
Yep.
And with Yakuza Kiwami 2, we are finally and officially, after 2 years of 4 games, 2 years, caught up to the Japanese releases, which is a really good feeling for me.
西と東の大戦争
And now this is obviously based on a PlayStation 2 game. It's a remake using all new technology. Have you changed the story at all? Is it going to be a new experience for people that maybe are super familiar with the original Yakuza 2?
We have gone line by line and done like an analysis of the accuracy of those lines, because this was translated back in 2006, and that's a lot has changed since then, and a lot of, I think fans demanded a little bit more accuracy in the translations, which has allowed us to really kind of tweak things and make it feel a little bit more modern. Things that would have maybe been like glossed over in the original because they were afraid or concerned about what fans would think about them have been kind of restored in Yakuza Kiwami 2.
たくあんただけは読めねえな
Yakuza 2 was actually the first introduction of Sotenbori, which was a city that's been featured in Yakuza 0 as well as a little bit in Yakuza 5. So this is a really cool opportunity to render Sotenbori in the Yakuza Dragon engine, which is where kind of kicked off Yakuza 6. So Sotenbori has never looked this good. It's really cool to just wander around that city and get immersed.
どうやキルちゃんかっこいいやろ
And is it a direct, story progression from Yakuza 1? Are we just picking up from the next day kind of thing? Like, how does this fit within the timeline?
Yakuza Kiwami takes place at the end of December 2005, and this picks up in December 2006. If you've missed Yakuza Kiwami, there is like a literal 20-minute cutscene that you can watch that will have Kiryu narrating the events of Yakuza Kiwami. So you don't have to have played that, but it's certainly a cool thing if you have.
Tell us what sort of makes this a unique and distinct Yakuza experience.
Well, we have a peeing minigame.
Okay.
You can go into the bathroom, and there's the Sega Toilets app is there. That's happening. We have 2006's kind of hot arcade games, Virtua Fighter 2.1, as well as Virtual On. The Cabaret simulator from Yakuza 0 is back. Clan Creator with Goro Majima, the other kind of favorite. There's just a lot to do in Kiwami 2.
Sega arcade games, that's always a standout for me. I'm a longtime Sega lover, right? So I love finding those things. Is it Virtua Fighter 2.1 and Virtual On, or are there other ones too?
Yeah, those are the 2 arcade games we're featuring in this one. 2.1 is, I don't know that we've ever done that on a console. It's like it's Virtua Fighter 2, but also tweaked for balance. So that was an arcade release that happened. And Virtual On is just a huge fan favorite. People really love that.
These are massive games, and I think people don't recognize how much content is in there. So if they're not familiar with the series, tell us a little bit about what makes Yakuza games very special.
The Yakuza games are a crime drama wrapped in this giant epic story, but also just over-the-top silliness. The producer once described this game as being a game where very serious people do very stupid things. And I think that's probably one of the best descriptions I've ever heard of Yakuza.
Is this, attributable to the way that the Japanese kind of like to tell their stories around this sort of gritty gangland kind of world? Is this typical, or is this just a uniquely Sega thing?
Yakuza is a very uniquely Sega thing, but I feel that people often misinterpret this game as being this very dark, criminal, gritty, kind of Grand Theft Auto-y kind of criminal simulator, when in reality it's about a guy, it's about a man doing what's right for the world, and being constantly sucked back into these politics of the criminal underelement. And it's less about that criminal element and more context of that is what's happening for our hero Kazuma Kiryu.
And I think Kiryu-san's kind of journey is fraught with lots of huge epic things, but also lots of minutia and lots of concern for the average person, and he just gets sort of embroiled in all of these little small things that become great game moments, don't they?
Absolutely. The sub-stories are what really make this game shine. Running into old ladies in Kiwami 2, or convenience store employees that he ends up helping, that kind of thing. And in Kiwami 2, you actually gain heat actions from having done that, which is a new take in this little allied system that we have going on in Kiwami 2. But overall, Kazuma Kiryu has become this sort of icon of both Yakuza and Sega to some extent, just for his heart of gold, but also kind of rough and buff exterior,
いらっしゃいませお客様
Now, you've played all of these games. You are an expert on the Yakuza series. They're all cool in their own way. Yakuza 6 was a landmark title for you guys. Do you have a favorite, if you're pulling them from your own heart, out of all of these different games?
Yakuza 0 is always going to be super special to me because that was the first game I came in on, and it's just a really just hype game that sets the stage for the entire Yakuza series as a prequel. But Yakuza 2 was my literal second favorite, so it's been a joy to work on this title.
is the idea then with you guys to kind of create the PlayStation 4 box set, like to have them all in the sort of most modern system that you can, so people can just like have that on their shelf and play through the whole saga, play through the whole epic?
That's kind of the dream. You know, we have to work with Japan very closely on that. Nothing's been announced at this point. We're getting Kiwami 2 at the door, but I would love to see the entire Yakuza series available on the PS4 before the PS5 comes out, I hope.
And then you'll do it all over.
I hope. Oh gosh, please.
And yes, I do believe that Sega is indeed making a box set of remakes of all of the Yakuza games for the PlayStation 4, which is fine. It's a little too much all at once, as we talk about, but what a killer series. So distinctive, so unique. Still thinking about tossing the baby up in the air in Yakuza 6 and the weird mini games in that game. It was such a weird game. I love them, though. Some good comments here. First of all, Ryan Gavier, this is a little off topic, saying, everybody check out Scott C. Jones' podcast, Heavily Pixelated. You absolutely should download that. Scott's been working very hard on building something very unique and special there. You guys know his insight and his sense of humor and his, his way with words very well. Anybody that's been watching EP and Reviews on the Run for a long time knows that he's doing some good work out there. And his podcast, I think, is a real labor of love. It's called Heavily Pixelated, and he's got some great topics and great guests in there. You should check that out. And it's on all of the iTunes and Stitcher and everything out there. And will we ever do a podcast again? We get asked about that a lot. I think what we want to do is eventually, if we can, and this is going to take work from everybody out there, because we need to grow our audience and grow our support, and maybe there's some partners or some other things that we can do to help raise a little bit of funding. But we need to get EP Live running 5 days a week. That's the goal, because it's a show that should run 5 days a week. We need a little bit more production resource in order to be able to do that. But once that is comfortably running at 5 days a week and we've got that going on, I absolutely want to offer some kind of audio-only podcast. And I've been thinking about it, the way to distinguish ourselves or that podcast from our EP Live stuff, because we're going to be putting out a lot of content out there, is to maybe just do deep dive, like hour-long interviews with specific people out there, which I'd love to do, which is too long to package into a show like EP Live. But there are certainly people out there that I could sit down with and have a really long conversation with, and could be really fun. Or maybe it's two people, or maybe it's a half hour or whatever. But still thinking about a podcast, Misfix Basement, and I think it will come back, but I can't put the date on that yet. Anyways, talked about Destiny 2 today. Blade Blur comment. Oh, first of all, Music Mathieu says, I totally agree with you, Vic. Great feel and sound effects, but the leveling isn't satisfying. The serious Nightfall strikes and raids don't have matchmaking, which is a bummer for me. I think that's the major issue with Destiny, is that it's not living up to the potential. It's not living up to the expectation. And Bungie hears it. They know it. They're working their asses off to build something beautiful, but they're just not getting the universal love and adoration that the entire company is chasing, and I think feels somewhat deserving of. And there's lots to love, but maybe this whole idea of turning Destiny into this never-ending thing is the problem to begin with. Maybe there should have been an ending. Maybe they should have worked from the ending backwards and said, okay, that's it. Not just a conclusion for the Guardians destroying a boss and then they can keep going and cleaning up, but like a really satisfying, we're living in peace now kind of thing. I don't know. I just comment on them, and I kind of pick up on the social vibes around their stuff. Anyways, Blade Blur says, Destiny is the kind of game you should buy a year once. Oh, you should buy a game, I guess, Game of the Year once they do and insert more content into it. I dropped it so fast at release date. Real shame on release day. Faramer says, this is why I'm concerned for Division 2. It's the same, and it's going to be the same, just in a new area. It's going to be just like Destiny 2. Yeah, that'll be interesting. A lot of people were really pissed off with Division 1 as well. I dug it from the standpoint of how I played it, which was kind of like an RPG, story-driven, beautiful, cool missions inside of a New York City kind of thing. But, if you really wanted to get the whole thing of Division and you played it and grinded, yeah, it started to piss a lot of people off. Still a lot of super fans for it, too. Asna Kitty. Even when they add new content to Destiny 2, they use the same enemies over and over again. It needs new enemies! ! And they should bring back racing. Yes, they definitely need to diversify the experience. You have spaceships, all they work as, and you collect them, and you get new skins and stuff, and all you use your spaceships for are cutscenes between levels, which is nuts. Like, why can't we fly around in space? Why are there no space missions? Why can't we fly in Destiny? Anyways, Too Sexy Travis Savage says, my girlfriend wants to know what kind of hair gel you use. It's great. It's a great Destiny question. I'm a child of the 80s, man, so I use Paul Mitchell hairspray, freeze and shine, and ice gel or joy gel. Yeah, they don't make ice gel anymore. That's how long I've been doing this. Yeah, there you go. We are not endorsed by Joy Gel or Paul Mitchell. All right, you guys, we have another review for you. Some of you may have seen this, but it's a good one, I promise. Here's our look at The Crew 2. The Crew 2 has been spinning in my PlayStation 4 for the last little while, and I've been having a very good time with this game, which is quite a bit different from the very first experience. And by the way, we're in the thick of things here in this park in summertime, and there are lawnmowers all around me. You can't drive a lawnmower in The Crew 2, but you can drive pretty much anything else that you can think of, and you can switch between vehicles on the fly, and that is the hook. And the other hook is that the Ivory Tower team that built this game decided to put in pretty much all of the continental USA. So you can drive around on the streets of Detroit, and New York City, Washington, D.C., Seattle, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, New Orleans, all over the place, and and also all the countryside too, through the Grand Canyons and through the redwood forests, and all kinds of beautiful scenery is yours to traverse. And you can choose to drive from one end of the USA to the other. It'll take you forever, but of course there are also fast travel points that will bounce you around from activity to activity. And thankfully what they've done here is they have made it kind of simple with lots of lists and lots of ways for you to bounce to the exact activity that you want. Maybe you want to do some plane stunts for a bit, or do some power boat racing for a little bit, or jump onto a motocross bike, or do lots of street racing. You also have this kind of role-playing aesthetic built into the game as well, where you're kind of getting loot, Diablo-style loot that pops up in little loot boxes, I guess. And actually, there is an in-game currency in here that you can augment with real money if you want to, but you don't have to. You can kind of have fun and play through the game. Some of the cars are expensive, some of the vehicles are expensive, but you can basically level up the vehicles and give them better suspension, better tires, better engines, all that stuff. It's pretty simplified. It's not like the tuning that you would get in a kind of a more racing simulation game. This is more akin to what the Playground Games folks have been doing with the Forza Horizon series, and it's different than the first Crew, which I think was a little bit more, tough as nails, kind of, street racing with your buds kind of thing. This is a little bit more like it's a festival, and it's televised, and your social status hinges on your popularity and the followers, all that crap. There's a lot of cheesy voiceover in this game that will annoy you.
From the heart of New York City, this was the live Extreme Series Episode 1.
I had fun on the streets, I had fun in the boats, I had fun in the air. Drift racing is something that just completely eludes me. Sometimes I have fun with drift racing, but for the most part I feel like it's always a struggle, and I'm always bouncing off of the walls and stuff like that. But you also get challenged with some pretty cool things like photo opportunities, where you race around, you're on a street somewhere, and then poop, a little bubble pops up and says, there's a photo opportunity here. Go do a donut in front of the Dragon Gate in Chinatown in San Francisco, let's say. And so you got to go do that, and you take a picture, and then you get extra points and new followers. Hooray! Because followers are all that's important in this world. At one point, though, I did not have fun. I was chasing a moose. I was trying to find a moose in the background in the forest that I was racing around in. I was like, stopped my driving and said, okay, there's got to be a moose in here. So I picked up the camera, and the amazing thing is you can be on the map part of it, and then you zoom out and you go, oh my god, you can see the whole continental US. It's crazy. But I zoomed out a bit, and you can change the perspective of the map, and I was looking around for my moose. Never found my moose, never got my new followers from that. It does get a little numbing. You're just sort of sitting there going, oh my god, okay, what am I racing now? What am I racing now? What am I racing now? It also feels like there are long periods of quiet before you're in the fury of a race. It's not like a guided, beautiful sort of orchestrated tour through the experience. There's a lot of like, okay, what icon am I going to hit now, or where do I got to go to get into this race? So it's big. It's not particularly crowded. It's not particularly well guided. It does feel like, you know, part of the new Ubi experience of building these games that are going to just keep growing and growing forever. There's a lot of territory that they can keep dotting with little activities and, you know, even new vehicle types. But as it stands, you're going to be you know, doing off-road racing and rally racing and street racing. You're going to have so many things to do. And in that context, I kind of felt like this was like a mishmash, like a spiritual successor to some of the experiences that I had with like Diddy Kong Racing and the old Driver series that Reflections used to do. So there is some really cool, fun bits in here. I didn't feel like I was as hooked on this game as I was on, let's say, Forza Horizon 3, and as I anticipate I will be with Forza Horizon 4, but I definitely did appreciate all of the effort. It feels enormous, and it feels like people just work their butts off to build something really special. All of these systems are in place to make this game kind of bounce at you. And I feel like I'll stay with the Crew 2 and I'll keep bouncing in, but I also feel like my tank is full on the Crew 2 right now. So it's one of these kinds of games where, you know, you don't want to just eat everything you can and try to burn through it and beat everything and unlock everything and just fill your garages up with all these different craft. It's like, play it for a few hours, take a break, come back to it in a few days, play it for a few hours, take a break. It's a good game. It definitely is. And I'm excited to see where Ubisoft takes us in the Crew 2, because I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of content for this title over the next few months and possibly few years. I'm going to give the Crew 2 out of the starting gate an 8 out of 10. Yeah, pretty cool game. Absolutely beautiful work in that title. Will be interesting to see how the Crew 2 is in the year 2020, because I don't think Ubisoft has given up on their idea of sticking with their games for many months. And I think the Crew 2 is a very good example of, we made all of the United States. Let's fill it up with all kinds of stuff. So maybe we'll get some electric vehicles and things like that. The Ren 2, or the Ren says, Vic's Basement coming back. Let's do it. Thanks for getting shirts out, Vic. They are awesome. Thank you, the Ren. Oh, yes, the Ren. I didn't put you in the show. The Ren also I'm going to do that right now. Are you still on me, Blake? Yep. The Ren, hold on. I got to close this window here. The Ren sent a picture of him, and I'm not ready. It's trying to close. 1 second here. We got well, thank you very much for your super chat, and also to the Ren, and also to you, Paul Casilio. You guys are incredible, and also everybody that's picking up the shirts. It blows my mind. And a new sponsor is Greetings Mortal. Thank you, Greetings. Thank you so much for supporting EP. Here is you can go full screen, I think now, my friend. There is the Ren. I hope I have the right Ren. Yes.
Make it smaller a bit.
Make it a bit smaller. Okay. So hold on 1 sec. Okay, there we go. How's that? Is that okay? There you go. Look at that. I love that. That's a lot of EP. That's like our show right there. That's you guys might as well just start live streaming right there. That's incredible. Thank you so much. It blows me away to see people wearing these shirts, and it really makes me super happy. There's my ad for Tweetbot 3. Okay, we are moving on to a classic game. I just got to open up the window again. 1 second. Are you back on me? Yep. Okay, because we don't want people to know that we're running a lot of stuff off this laptop. We're going back to a classic game that has been remastered. It's Red Faction Guerrilla. We're going to do, this is Let's Play and Chat, so we're going to chat with everybody that's on the stream right now. So if you've got questions, you've got comments, you've got any feedback, let us know. Blake Siefkin is going to come up and join me, and we are going to get into it. I think the audio is going to be okay. We are going to start with a... Okay, we're going into a new game. I'm sure there's going to be a... some kind of a weird cutscene. Sounds okay. Maybe a little bit loud. The Ren, my daughter is using it as a nightgown. Hope that's okay for a brand. Yes, that is totally okay. I can adjust the audio right here. So let us know if the audio is okay. And we can adjust on the fly. Red Faction, let's get back into this. It's been a long time since I played this.
I have a funny story.
What's that?
I played this game when it came out, and I actually finished it.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was that funny?
Because
good.
nobody finishes games ever.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I actually finished the story.
Okay. Going to see if I can get a shirt this week. Nintendo Boy, thank you so much. And Las Vegas, yes! Red Faction! Re-Mars-tered. Adrian Leon, great to see you here, my friend. THQ Nordic loves their punny titles. War-Mastered, Re-Mars-tered. Comment, Vic, you need to come to London for the Warframe launch on the Switch. I would love to come and visit Digital Extremes and hang out in London, Ontario. I think that would be so fun. I did review the Breath of the Wild DLC. You can check that out on the channel. I don't do DLC reviews that often. You guys know why.
You know what? One thing I remember being disappointed about with this game is that when you jump, it doesn't feel like it just feels normal. I think.
Right, and you're on Mars.
Yeah. It should,
Yeah.
You should. Maybe there's some line of dialogue about you have heavy shoes.
No.
Maybe that's why they have big boots. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
It's probably some. Yeah.
They
Look, all
probably
the
have
boots
some.
are kind of big. Maybe that's what that is. But I remember enjoying this game. It was fun.
I don't hear the dialogue that loud. I don't know if that's part of the game issue or...
Chat, let me know what's the audio like for you.
I've got your gear over there.
Okay.
So here's how it works. It'll be a couple of weeks before
It's a
you.
little scratchy. I'm just gonna skip through this because we don't really need the story.
The story is weak.
We saw this game 10 years ago or something like
Yeah,
that.
it came out
it's been 10 years.
2009. You play a resistance, or you play like a miner who goes to Mars.
Yeah.
And then you join the resistance because everyone on Mars is being oppressed by people from Earth.
Right.
It's basically Total Recall without Arnold.
Paul says he hears the dialogue. Yeah, the audio is better than Vic's hair from a fat chimp is just calling it out on
shade.
my hair.
Didn't he? He's the guy who was throwing shade at me last time, or
No,
a couple
it's
times
okay.
ago, wasn't
It's
he?
all right. It's okay.
Look at that
Not,
frame
he's
rate.
not liking my hair.
Is
today.
this 60 frames per second?
Well, I was going to say we're on the regular PlayStation 4, not the PS4 Pro.
The frame rate looked really good just now when you moved the camera. That looks
Yeah, it
really
does.
good.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to translate to the stream because the stream is a bit choppier.
It says 1080p 60.
Yeah, but by the time
seems-
it goes through that computer, Vic, it's,
Right.
But for us, this looks like 60.
I'll keep an eye on it. You get
Mars has 40% of Earth's gravity. Thank you, Timberwolf.
Is it that low? I thought it was more like. Is Mars that much smaller than Earth?
Okay. Okay, the thing about Red Faction games is you can destroy everything, and then you
Almost everything.
basically salvage materials all over the place, and then you can use it to build all kinds of. My camera seems a little wonky.
Maybe I saw the move sensitivity earlier.
I'll see if I get
You
used
can
to
adjust
it.
move sensitivity.
Yeah.
Basically, everything that looks destructible is. You
This-
can't really break the rocks.
This seems. I mean, it seems good, but it seems a little less impressive post Minecraft and all of these builder games that are out there, all these survival games, right?
Well, you don't really construct anything, though, do you?
I think yeah, you
I don't
can create some
remember-
turrets and things like that.
Oh, that's right. But you don't build structures. It's not like really. It's more of a destruction game, not a construction game.
I think there is some construction in this. I think there's a repurposing of materials. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, to make like turrets and things. And you do upgrades to your suit because I remember you get a jetpack at some point.
I love that. Like they just start you with a hammer. Just go destroy things. I mean, what else does a video gamer want? Like if
bring
I
that
had
whole tower down,
Spider-Man's swinging power and this hammer, that's it. That's all you'd want. That'd be the best video game ever.
Bring that
ever
tower
made.
down. You only got one support beam left.
This thing, right? It's
Yeah.
probably not a good
Oh,
area
it's
to
tipping over. Watch out!
get out of the way. Oh my God, I'm alive.
You gotta be careful when you bring a tower down on your head, Vic.
See, that's why I never had a career as a lumberjack. Right there, you guys just saw it. I would bring a tree right down on my head. Okay, so now I just gotta destroy this building with my hammer.
Taz says Mars is 38% of Earth's gravity. I didn't know Mars. I knew Mars was smaller than Earth. I didn't know it was that much smaller than Earth.
Is gravity just about the density of the planet? Is that the
the
only way
size
it's
of it.
measured?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that it? Is it?
I'm not a quantum physicist, but I'm pretty sure.
I mean, would
Because I know, like, the bigger you are, the more mass you have, the more space is distorted around you. So
what about the chemical makeup of the planet
no, that
itself?
doesn't.
Is that positive? Have we determined that?
Well, it maybe makes it more no. Because if it's more dense, it shouldn't have more gravity, would it? I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, aren't there tiny little stars out there that have tremendous gravity?
Maybe. But I think it's more like the size of I don't know. I don't have Google in front of me, so...
Right. It's a good question to ask while we're playing.
Yes. It's a very heady
Red Faction
question.
as I bring down buildings with a hammer. But what about black holes? Some of them are tiny, but they have incredible gravity.
But that's because they're super condensed.
Okay.
It's not chemical.
I'm going to start using that to describe myself. Super condensed.
Super condensed.
I'm not short. I'm super condensed.
That was the other thing too, and it's a technological limitation. But it's like when the buildings collapse, it doesn't feel like it doesn't fall very realistically. It just kind of
this would be the shortest game in the world if it fell realistically. Dead.
No, but I mean, like, there's not, like, support struts. It's just, like, you hit the building a couple times, and it just kind of turns into, like, a mass of a couple of support struts and a few, like, outer walls, and they just kind of land. They just kind of, like, disappear into the ground, and there's just a nice little pile.
Right.
It's not like bringing a building down in real life where it would, like, collapse in on itself and other parts would tip over.
Maybe they use the smaller gravity as part of their explanation. Right?
Maybe.
I do notice a little bit more of a floaty feel to the jumping.
Yeah, maybe they made it a little bit, but I think I think on Mars you would probably be able to jump a bit higher.
Yeah, for sure.
It's probably.
What's the comparison to the moon and?
Well, there's more on Mars than the moon, because Mars is bigger than our.
Yeah. So like, what's the percentile on the? If Mars is 40%, what's the moon?
I want to say the moon is in the 20s. Let me ask Google.
Wait a second. Moment of silence for Dan.
Who?
Dan's dead.
Oh, that's your brother?
I don't know. I had to come back.
I think it's your brother.
He's dead. They just killed him in front of me. Bye, Dan.
Moon gravity compared to Earth. 12.
No! Oh, he's not gonna do that.
Yeah, 83.3% of Earth's gravity. So that's why, yeah, it can't be that low for Mars. There can't be more on the moon than there is on Mars.
The Earth's defense force
The moon has 83% of Earth's gravity?
Yeah.
So we could breathe the air.
Maybe it's denser.
No, that's not a thing, Vic.
The watchtowers. The liberators.
Maybe there's a black hole on the moon.
And now they
Maybe they're going from 0 to I don't know.
Rest in peace, Dan.
everything.
There can't be less gravity on Mars than there is on the moon.
Still better emotion than Mass Effect Andromeda for Fairmer. Still with the arrows and the stabs in the back to the Mass Effect.
Well, that game was disappointing.
Fat Chip question: what did you guys think of the sequel to this game? Mass Effect. I was Red Faction Armageddon, the first-person shooter, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. They made too many Red Faction games. I do remember.
What do we think of the sequel to this one? It was called Armageddon.
Oh, hope this expedition won't be a huge Mars steak from Blade Blur. That's great. Okay, I'm gonna skip this.
Yeah, what was the sequel to this one? Was it Armageddon, I think?
I think it was.
I remember, like, the shtick was you were underground fighting insects and things.
Timberwolf says, "Trust us, old folks. We know science."
Hey, I've read Carl Sagan books.
Who?
There's a thing on Mars named after Carl Sagan.
What?
It's I don't know, a mountain or something.
The Sagan Mountain?
Yeah, or a valley, I don't know. There's something on Mars named after him. Thanks for the super chat, Blade Blur.
You rock, buddy. Armageddon got a lot of crap for its closed-in areas, but it was okay. It was not great. I remember playing that game and had fun with it. The mechanics were solid. They've always been pretty decent, these Red Faction titles. This, I think, was the highlight of the franchise.
Yeah. I mean, I finished it, so it must have done something right.
What was there was one tied to the movie? I saw the movie.
There's a movie?
Yeah, we reviewed the movie on the show.
There wasn't a movie.
Yeah, there was. It was a Sci-Fi Channel movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That was Armageddon.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I totally forgot about that.
The commander thought you should have this field manual. It'll help you survive out here.
Man, a lot's happened in the 9 years since this came out. I can't believe this came out 9 years ago. That makes me feel really old.
Yeah. Time moves fast in the video game world. Blade Blur, you're the best.
Red Faction Origins.
Thank you so much.
It was called 2011. I totally forgot. We did like a behind the scenes thing on this. Like
yeah,
we went to the
absolutely.
set.
Did we?
I think we sent someone to a junket or
Okay,
something.
so what am I doing here? So this is my mission briefing. Okay, Mason, this is our former base of operations we had to clear out. EDF, Patrick Furtado, thank you so much.
Thank
Are
you.
you going to get Darksiders Apocalypse
We're just
Edition?
getting the super chats like crazy today.
Absolutely, we're going to do the Darksiders. I just bought it. I bought the. Is it Darksiders 3 Apocalypse Edition? I'm not sure.
That's the $400 one, I think.
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know if they're going to send that to us.
Yeah, they're not going to send us that.
I
I hope
probably
that-
won't be purchasing that.
I hope they don't send it to us because you guys can't see, but there's a whole wall here of toys and stuff that we're really running out of room like 2 years ago for. So I hope they don't send us
I
that.
hope they do. I would like there just to be a wall of toys all around us. Okay, so here we go. So we're going there. What is this?
I'm on my way.
Yeah, the $400 one is called.
Oh, getting some weapons. Okay, remote charges. Oh, yes, I kind of remember this. Okay, we have some.
Yeah, the Apocalypse Edition is the $400 one.
Wow. Okay, I've got some good weapons. I've got my vehicle. All right, here we go. This is the game. This is Grand Theft Auto on Mars, everybody.
Thorazine just got in from the beach.
Okay.
What beach did you go to, Thorazine?
Thorazine went outside, everybody.
I went outside this weekend. I got a bit sunburned.
Yeah, you did. Good job on that. You should wear sunscreen, though.
I did. I went in the water and it washed
Okay,
off.
okay.
I swam in the ocean.
I was outside. We went outside to a park and we watched our daughter play for 6 hours on the playground. She had the best day ever.
Vic, you're not just supposed to run into people like that.
I know. It's Mars, though. People understand.
Do you know what disappointed me about this game? I think the story was a little weak.
Yeah.
But because it's big and it's open world and you can take any car, I was comparing it to the Grand Theft Auto games.
Yeah.
And it's not as good as a Grand Theft Auto game.
No, but it's pretty solid.
It's good, but that's the problem when you compare anything to Grand Theft Auto is nothing is as good as Grand Theft Auto.
No.
So it's always going to seem weak by comparison. Like I wanted fully destructible Grand Theft Auto on Mars.
Right.
And this isn't that. It's not as good as that. It's still a really good game.
It would be so rad if Rockstar developed an open world sci-fi game.
Yeah, on like well they did. What was that, Body Harvest? Do you
Oh,
remember Body Harvest?
That was DMA design.
But that was Rockstar.
Yeah,
before
Midway.
they were Rockstar.
N64 game, classic. David Jones and his group.
But Rockstar made that, right? That was when they were still Rockstar, right?
No, I think they were DMA design. Then.
But they became Rockstar.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even like, I don't know who owns that. Midway published that game. God, we're talking about an old game, but
I'm gonna Google who owns Body Harvest.
I just got crashed. Anyone else missed the Red Faction was an FPS? I need to go back to RF Classic on Steam. I'm playing Red Faction 2 on GameCube, so I'm curious. Yeah, it'd be great to get more Red Faction. Maybe this is the precursor to that. I think THQ Nordic, whenever we see these remastered games, it's always the publisher not just trying to cash in, but also doing a little bit of a test on sales to see if there's, an appetite for more. God, I hope Shadow of the Colossus Remastered sold well, and Fumito Ueda decides that we need more of that. It would be incredible to go chase some more Colossi. And he could even use the development team that worked on the Remastered edition to just embellish that experience. That would be amazing. Anyways, it would be great to see some more Red Faction. And there's lots of old classic titles. Time Splitters is one that I hear about all the time. It'd be great to get more Time Splitters.
Thorazine was at Cavendish Beach in PEI.
Very nice. Okay. So I think I should have climbed up the base
You can still get up there. Just go, yeah.
before I started to
You got this.
destroy it.
There's got to be a way up.
Nope, can't get up
Try
that
around.
way.
Try around.
Can I build? Yeah, I think I blew it.
No, there was another way up. Go back
Okay.
and go to your, go back up that way.
One of the issues I remember having with this game is that it looks the same,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because they can't make Mars look
Try going up where
cooler.
those pipes are.
Right, yeah. So you see the same kind of look all the way through the game. Maybe it gets dusty.
Yeah, and
Maybe there's less mountains.
that was the other thing too, because I thought if this were a Rockstar game, they would find some way to make it look
Yeah.
different.
Mars has always been a tough destination, whether it's in a movie or in a game, because it's kind of bland, deserty, red kind of vibe, you know?
Alright, I'm at the base.
What they could have done is just had it be terraformed a bit.
I never saw the John Carter of Mars movie. Anybody see that?
You never saw that?
Nope.
Wow. Well, I guess no one did because it failed.
Yeah, I never saw it.
That's why Disney said screw it and they just bought Star Wars. Like, we're not gonna make this stuff our own anymore. We're just gonna buy Star Wars.
Okay, what's it here? Let's see.
You said
It was not as horrible as you would think.
Yeah.
It was. I remember being disappointed by it. I didn't like that the main character was a Confederate soldier.
Right.
I didn't like him being my hero.
Right.
They should have changed it and made him a Union soldier.
Okay.
But I remember being disappointed by that at the time.
Right.
Yeah, and it was just kind of eh.
So a Canadian actor played a Confederate soldier.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. They should have had him be a Union guy. Like, that's like such a no-brainer.
Yeah, I never saw it. I have the Blu-ray. I think we reviewed it on the show, so it was sent to us. But I've never watched it. Just got the news from Disney that the Avengers Infinity War 4K is coming up soon. It's amazing how fast these things get released now.
Yeah, that's. But I mean, it was 2 Marvel movies ago. We've already had another Marvel movie since that one came out.
I know. Oh
Like,
my goodness.
It's a video game. Those barrels and containers like that, they blow up.
I don't. Do I have another weapon? Where's my other gun? Okay. Where do I start? Don't just hit everything. Body Harvest. I remember that review. It's actually what made me want to play that game back then. Wow, such an old game. Farmer.
Did
Yes.
you guys review it?
Yeah, we would have. Yep, we would have talked about it. It was post N64 launch. Remember, we were reviewing games. Well, we were reviewing games in '95 on the site, and then in '96, started shooting
Body
our
Harvest
first.
was '98.
I think so. Yeah, and then there was the space station game as well. I forget the name of that one. N64 had some cool, obscure titles out there that were really fun. Blade Blur, you're thinking of how to take your picture with the T-shirt with the EPN shirt on. I know it's tricky to. Oh, this is my own thing. I'm starting. I probably don't want to rip my own face. I can't do selfies either. I have to. Sometimes I ask Blake or my wife or something to take a picture of me. It's like my arms aren't long enough, so I can't get myself and my shirt into a shot.
Fubar does really good selfies because his arms are like
Oh
super long.
he's ape-like.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like a selfie stick when he takes a selfie.
Yeah.
I'm on my way. Yeah.
Okay, I think I have all of these. Okay, done. All right. So, do I have another weapon?
How'd you get caught up in this?
I don't think so. Is there not like a weapon wheel?
I think that's my. Oh, there's my grenade launcher.
I'm sorry.
The guy was telling me that he misses home. All right.
You're not supposed to drive right into a cliff.
No. I see the arrows right there. Here we go. Okay, let's get to this base and blow it up. Hi, guys. Coming through. I just like to give everybody a little tap.
Oh, and this was cool. I remember this now too. The orange lighting on the road.
Yeah.
Because that was new at the time. We didn't have that in other games.
Well, I think they ripped it from Forza.
Yeah, not racing games. Yeah.
Yes.
But not games like this.
Okay, destroy the abandoned base. The car is not good enough to do that with. Okay.
This is where you were already at, right?
Yeah. So
you just have to
how
do it
do
all
I
over
switch to my?
Try pressing down on the joystick.
Okay. So I have grenades, and those are pretty handy. My remote charge. Okay.
But we'll go find that that propane tank that killed you last time.
Yeah.
And do that.
All right, I'm at the base.
Damn propane tank. Yes, I like this. This is making me think of Saboteur. I should stream the Saboteur. You guys ever played the Saboteur?
No, nobody did.
This game was incredible. I don't think
that
it's
was the
backwards
problem.
compatible. I think we've got to fix that. Ah, I see why they put this here, because I can get more of these. Okay, done. All right, let's go.
I guess we haven't had a new red faction in a long time, but I guess Just Cause, that series has kind of taken this idea and sort of run with it.
Yeah,
the
for sure.
destructive mayhem in a big open world. I mean, I know it's not on Mars, but
Oh, okay, that's how I do it. I don't have a... Oh, I do. I have my gun. Okay, we're good. We got all kinds of
I
stuff.
don't think you can't use the gun to take down the.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, now I know where my controls are.
The thing is there, so do that.
Where?
The,
Right there?
right there. The thing that killed you last time.
Uh-oh. I'm getting shot at.
You're standing right next to it.
Woo!
Or the bad guy's shooting at you because you're.
Somebody's shooting at me.
Oh,
Got you.
you take your gun out. There's another one.
Oh my god. I'm
Oh
terrible,
my
guys.
God.
I'm sorry.
You're out of the resistance, Vic.
Alright, we're gonna beat this base. We're gonna get a little bit farther. Let's do this. It told me that I can't save at this base, which sucks. Keep up the good work, guys.
Abby Jameson, thanks.
Oh, thank you so much.
We're just rolling in the super chats today.
That's very sweet. Paul Addison's jumping. See you, buddy. Have a good night. This takes too long to load.
Yeah, you think they would fix that with.
They brought back loading times from 9 years ago
They
too.
wanted it to feel authentic.
We should put on some Smash Mouth or something.
Smash. That's 10 years before that.
Okay.
Smash Mouth is like 20 years ago.
Smash Mouth is in my mind because at the Kinda Funny prom, shout out to the Kinda Funny guys. They actually had a prom with a big Kinda Funny party.
Sounds like something they would do.
And they brought Smash Mouth to their prom.
How'd they get him?
And they played. I think it's a band.
How did Smash? No, the lead singer got too. But I mean, how did Smash Mouth find time in their busy schedule?
Oh, doesn't he work on one of the talk shows? Oh, you know what? I didn't select the mission.
I know. I mean, you don't remember where it is. You've been there 5 times, Vic.
I know.
You
Yes.
keep failing.
I did fail it. Yes. I'm gonna blame it on the slightly chuggy frame rate that we're getting through the pass through here. Okay, here we go. Let us do this. Accept it. So I think what happened is I started shooting and it alerted the enemies to come and shoot at me is what happened.
Yeah, and you were destroying a thing.
Well, it's an abandoned...
Because you're a guerrilla resistance fighter.
Yeah, but it's an abandoned base, so it's okay. I'm not fighting the enemy base yet. I don't have those skills. I do feel like it's a little touchy, the controls, but...
They had you could change that. They had the aim sensitivity and everything.
Yeah, the guy, I'm gonna do that. Let's see. Controls, sensitivity. There we go. Okay.
Sorry.
I found refugees from other
that's
colonies
better.
and our numbers grew. Your brother joined us soon
Yeah.
after.
That's a bit better.
It was always Dan's problem. Couldn't run.
Hey, look at that. I'm staying on the road.
Nice.
I can do it. Okay, destroy this. That's cool.
Maybe set all the charges and then blow it up, so that way guys won't
I
come.
think I can only do 2. But I'm gonna go up there first. And blow up the...
All right, I'm at the base.
Okay.
Good. Use whatever you can to bring her down. We left some fuel tanks behind. You can shoot them or set charges
Here we
to blow
go.
them up.
There we go. Oh, now there is an alert
So now
level.
get your gun out.
Okay.
Mason, an EDF unit is heading your way. I'd hurry up and finish the job.
You said this was gonna be easy.
Did the guys show up on the map?
No. that's fun. Blowing up stuff in video games is fun. There they are.
Vic, you're just standing there. Why are you standing?
I'm changing my weapons. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Get up! Oh no, my God, where are they coming from? Okay, where are they? Where are they? Where are they?
They're over there.
They're over there.
Like the way you were looking.
Got you. Okay. Okay. There we go. There we go. Nice.
Just throw a couple more bombs. You should be able to get it with 2.
All right. This is starting to feel like a game. I remember that the controls for this game felt pretty.
Just a couple more supporting.
Yeah. Felt pretty impressive in an open world type setting. Like, remember Grand Theft Auto games had pretty clunky controls up until till 5.
Yeah,
really.
The
right?
shooting, you mean?
Yeah, shooting and everything. Like you would overcome it and you would have a good time, but it took a lot of patience. But this felt more like a first-person shooter.
It felt better.
Yeah.
A lot of games sort of did that after GTA 4 came out.
Yeah, like
a lot of
Saints Row.
games. Yeah, they looked at it and said, okay, let's do this, but make the shooting not suck.
Yes.
And I think that ended up being a good thing for Rockstar because they were able to rip those people off with GTA 5.
Right.
Because the shooting in GTA 5 is great.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so like, yeah, around this time there was a lot of big open world games that I think started, doing shooting properly.
Oh, I see. I keep pressing the down the sights button, the left trigger, but that's the melee attack right there. Okay.
How do you go down the sights?
You press the right thumbstick in.
That seems a bit.
That's dated. I'm sure you can change that.
Yeah. Vic, that barrel is blue. It's not gonna blow up.
That's the water barrel. Shooting the water barrel.
The only barrels that blow up are red ones and silver ones in video games.
Are people shooting me? No.
I don't think so. Just take that truck. No, don't blow that. Don't, because you want that. Oh, there's a truck there. Take the bad guy cars.
Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I can, right? I can drive anything.
They're cool looking.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Get back to the safe house.
So how's there air on Mars? Did they terraform it?
Yeah, they must have.
I don't see any trees though.
I think it's related to the previous stuff that they did on in the previous games. Oh shit!
Let's get back to the safe house.
I looked at the chat.
Let's get to the safe house. Okay. Jordan Cunningham, have you ever played Xenon Valkyrie?
I don't think so.
I don't know what that is.
I don't think I have. To ask Jordan, well, I guess we can ask him. Jordan, what is that game? Tell us what it is. What's it about?
Yeah, he had the same definition of easy as you.
Xenon Valkyrie.
Okay. Yes, completed. Got some salvage. Yes.
Fight the power, Vic.
Yes.
Fight those dastardly earthlings.
We are a guerrilla force. And with this game, just starting this, I'm done with Destiny. Even though I'm playing on Mars and, I want to play this now. I don't want to play Destiny.
Destiny is such when you play Destiny for a long time.
Yeah.
And I guess it speaks to the game not being that awful if you can play it for a long time.
Well,
but once you do, you realize just how empty it is.
And I honestly, for players that like diversity and like lots of different games in their diet, that's the way to enjoy Destiny, because I was having a great time when I went back to it and I completed the campaign again. It's like, this is really fun. But now that I've gone through both of the DLC packs, I'm like, oh my god.
It's addictive for the wrong reasons. It gets its hooks into you not because it's a good game, but because it's designed to get its hooks into you. If a game's going to get its hooks into me, I want it to be because it's a good game.
Right.
And Destiny 2 and Destiny 1 isn't that.
It's so on the way to being indelible.
Yeah, the mechanics in Destiny are great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not there yet.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, should we add more remote charges?
Do it.
Or...
What's the arc? No, the arc weld. That thing was cool.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Can I do this? No, I need more salvage.
So just break some more stuff. Because that thing you can.
What is this?
Take buildings down with the arc welder.
Oh yes, we want that.
With the arc welder, you can
It's even better
shoot
than before.
buildings down.
Okay, I'm adding more I'm spending money,
That should
Okay.
help out.
so I did.
You want to get the arc welder next though. 'Cause
Okay.
You can take down buildings by shooting at them.
Okay, cool.
I think.
All
I
right.
mean, I know there's a gun you can get where you can do that. So.
Yeah, you had some pretty cool weapons in this. It looks great, huh? It's running well. It was a solid game, man.
And this franchise only ever died. Well, Armageddon wasn't very good, but it died because THQ died. Like,
Yes.
It
Same-
wasn't this game franchise wasn't the problem. Like these games were successful.
Same with Darkstalkers. Oh, and I just bought Darkstalkers 1. Darksiders, sorry. Darksiders 1 on PlayStation 4 because it was like $5 or something on its sale. And they sent me a code for the second one. So those are 2 games that I definitely will stream and need to re-experience again before the sequel comes out. Which is soon, as we just talked about on the rundown yesterday. It's coming soon.
November. It wasn't
Yeah.
at E3. I hope it doesn't suck.
Well, THQ Nordic, somebody replied
Oh, they
to
said they
that.
weren't going to
Yeah.
to E3. That's right.
And they filled us in. They're going to Gamescom with all of these titles, which I dig. So
Makes
they're
sense. They're a
yeah.
European company.
Okay, so what do we do now? So
How,
these are
how
my
big
missions.
is the map again?
Oh, it's
Can you
huge.
zoom out? And...
It's big.
Nice.
Does that? I'm so over big maps now though. With
Well, it's not too
tons
big.
of icons.
It's not too big.
No. All
I
right.
remember it not being too much. Like to finish it, it wasn't overly long.
Wasn't grueling.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to this mission and we'll see how it goes.
Oh, don't hit him. He'll
I
shoot
took,
you.
I took the garbage truck out.
Don't hit the bad guy cars, so they'll come after you.
Okay. It's got a little bit of a Mad Max vibe. I wouldn't mind playing. Oh, some more Mad Max. I looked at the chat again.
Yeah. No, I saw that.
Checking the off-road capabilities of my vehicle. Looks like a dust storm is coming.
Oh, drive
in.
through those.
Why?
Because it's
Salvage?
fun.
Okay.
And I guess, yeah, salvage.
this
That's
is our
the reason.
power.
That's my excuse.
Why would
for
I
it.
do this?
Because it's awesome to drive.
Do I,
through.
I'm not really getting any salvage.
Do you get the salvage automatically, or do you have to go pick it up?
I picked up something where I get the salvage in the vehicles, but it doesn't seem to be doing that.
Well, it's worth it anyway.
All right, that was kind of fun. Hello, garbage truck. Wish you could beep.
Can't you beat?
No.
0 out of 10. No horn in the car. Unacceptable.
Okay. Morale bonus. Completing a mission awards you with salvage. The higher morale in the sector, the more salvage you receive. Okay, let's go do this.
We received
This
word
is
that
the
a
lamest
high-ranking
part of every Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
These missions.
Why?
Because it's like go around and tear a poster down of yourself.
Taz asking Red Dead Redemption 2, which console?
Commander thinks you're walking into a trap.
I have the X and the Pro, and the X does do third-party games a little bit better. I think we have to look at who's promoting the game the most. If the ads are saying PlayStation, that means that Sony has worked out some kind of a exclusivity some kind of deal, and that means that they probably got some money to make it a little bit cooler on that machine.
But
Yeah.
the game's gonna have a big online. We know that.
Right.
So here's
Oh,
the question: the
I'm not-
online's gonna be around for years to come.
I don't think I was supposed to blow
Yeah, you're
this
not supposed
guy.
to blow these guys up.
Sorry,
You're
guys.
supposed to go meet Sam.
Oh man.
The question I would be asking is, assuming you're going to be playing the online for Red Dead Redemption 2 in
Yeah,
4 or 5 years,
where are your
what,
people?
do you think you're going to have the Xbox One or the PS4 in 5 years?
Right.
Which of those two consoles do you think has more longevity?
Well, I'll tell you this:
And
Xbox.
the answer is the PC.
Yeah, but the Xbox has done a better job at giving you access to older games that you've purchased and built up stuff than PlayStation has, right?
Yep.
So I failed that mission by
You're
blowing
not
up
just
the
supposed to
building.
go around blowing stuff up for no reason, Vic.
You give me remote mines, I'm going to use them. That's what.
You just start throwing it at some random building.
You put an icon on a map and give me some remote mines. What am I going to do? I'm going to go use those suckers.
I would
Okay.
get Red Dead Redemption 2 on the PC.
Blake is correct about the PC. Red Dead Redemption 2 on the PC?
Yeah, if I had a PC.
Right. But you don't.
If you're worried about the multiplayer for down the road.
Here is what's going to happen with PS5. Sony is hearing the rallying cries from consumers about being able to keep their content with them. And so is Nintendo, by the way. Now that everything is subscription-based, even in the last earnings information about when the PlayStation 5 is going to come out, they were talking about shifting over to a subscriber business, and that was going to be a much bigger part of their business. PS5 is going to be backwards compatibility in some fashion. My expectation, and yours should be too, is that we're going to be able to play all the PS4 titles on there, but hopefully a lot more. So I don't think you need to be too worried about being, buying a PS4 game and not being able to play it on the PS5 in a couple of years.
Yeah.
I think you'll be able to do that.
That kind of ties into the HBO story we had earlier today.
Yeah.
I think I heard something.
Think of all the advertising revenue they can get from all that information you're going to give them on your PlayStation 5.
Well, everything's going to be account-based, man.
Yeah,
Everything
and if your
is.
PlayStation 5 account is something you can access on your phone or your
Yeah.
laptop, like they're going to get so much valuable information.
Right. Okay, so I got to go to Sam over here. Okay. So get
It's on
back
your
in the
mini
car.
map. No, it's right there. You don't. It's right there on your map.
Right, but I got.
You can just run towards it.
He's pretty far away though.
Is he?
Yeah, he's way over there.
Oh, okay. Thought he was closer.
I'm gonna go get in my car. I can't remember. Is there multiplayer in this game?
I don't think there was.
Let's get into this little
Was there?
spindly vehicle. What is this? This
That's
does
cool.
not
It's
look
like a moon
safe
buggy.
at all.
Vic, you abandoned the mission.
Did I? By getting in the
I
car?
think you
to
were
go-
running in the wrong direction.
I was just going to the
You
arrows.
got too far away from it.
Okay. Xbox XL. With the X.
Well, the
Before-
Xbox isn't big enough.
No, but before the Xbox One X came out, I was 100% like, let's load up on the PlayStation. That seems to be where the developers are going right
Yeah.
now. But the X is a big improvement on the Xbox platform in general, the Xbox machines.
The launch
in general.
Xbox One was terrible.
But I've been playing a lot of stuff on the X, and I love it. It's a great machine, and I still play lots of stuff on the PS4 Pro, and I play lots of. It's a much more even split. Before the S and the X came out on the Xbox, it was definitely leaning in the PlayStation direction much more. But I feel like it's a lot more even now.
With cross-platform on the Xbox, with the Switch and PC.
Yeah. So it's really up to what you play on the most and where most of your friends are, because yes, Blake's right, it's going to be a big multiplayer game. Okay, so I'm going to Sam.
Commander thinks you're walking into a trap.
He's just paranoid after what happened to your brother.
Okay, meet with Sam.
Wait.
Boom.
I think I heard something.
Okay.
Bloody hell! Idiot!
Is Sam talking to you on the thing, or is that
I'm getting some chatter.
is that Masson?
There we are. Here we go.
So now, don't just randomly blow up his house, Vic.
Okay. Text Sam from the EDF. So somebody's joined me, and I'm going to these red dots, I think.
No, that you gotta go to the yellow thing. Those are the things you gotta protect.
Okay, right over there.
The yellow dots are things you gotta kill, I think. No.
Not these people.
Or no, just go to the yellow. Yeah, just hang around in this area. It's your first video game, Vic?
Shooting them in the back. Yeah, it's the first time I'm playing. Video games are fun.
Is that your? I think that's.
That's Sam.
Or your reticle goes red when it's over an enemy. doesn't it?
Rectical.
Isn't that what it's called?
Reticle.
Reticle.
Rectical is.
Rectical.
Yeah,
I don't know what that
you don't
means.
want any issues with your recticle. You won't- All right, I think we're good. Okay, Sam. Oh, Sam is a woman. Okay.
This is one hell
Hello,
of a
Sam.
Now blow up her house.
Sam is basically
The EDF will send reinforcements.
Joanna Dark
I want to
from
crack the
Perfect Dark.
joke, so get
Pretty
ready.
much, right
Now the
there.
question is, how many remote charges to blow up her house?
Okay, yes. Follow Sam to the ambush point. Okay, here we go. I'm not going to blow up her house.
The truck should
That
come
was
in
the
right
old
under
me.
our bridge.
You've reformed.
Switch Master Race we got from the Faction.
Finish up. The drones will be here soon.
That's awesome.
They'll be looking for me.
Yeah, don't get the Red Dead Redemption 2 Switch version. That is not the version to get.
Don't get that because it doesn't exist.
Yes,
This would be good on the Switch. Why is
Totally.
this not on the Switch?
absolutely.
I want this on the Switch.
Right on, man. I'm right with you, brother. This should be on the Switch. All the old Grand Theft Auto games. Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5 could be on the Switch.
I think the ambush point is that little red circle there, Vic.
Okay. Well, I'm following Sam.
No, it's prepare. Now you have to prepare for the ambush.
Now I'm following her though.
But she's leading you away from the thing.
No, this is it, isn't
You
it?
sure?
Prepare for the EDF.
Okay.
Well, what's she doing?
I don't know. She's preparing for the EDF.
I think I have to.
I think you have to go to where that red. See
No,
the
those-
line?
those-
See the red line?
Those are.
The arrows pointing to a thing.
The
they're
arrows
gonna
are
come.
where- yeah,
they're
that's where
they're
they're
gonna
gonna
drive
come
through
from.
here. So put
Yeah.
a bunch of charges down under this bridge.
I can only do 2.
But drop the bridge on them when they come by.
Okay.
So put enough to bring the bridge down.
Got you. All right.
Like put them on this. Not there. On the supports.
Why wouldn't that blow it up?
Oh, there is no supports. Yeah, just right there.
Okay. Get up. All right. Do I need more than 1?
I would do 2.
Okay.
Well, they're coming. You better do it right now. There you go. Ah, you missed it.
Missed them. They're fast.
You're the. I'm never fighting a guerrilla war with you, Vic.
I probably won't get into a guerrilla war. I'm pretty sure about that.
Well, I don't know. We got lots of water
It's true.
in Canada.
True.
So lots of people are gonna want our water in a couple decades, Vic.
Oh no. Don't get all bleak, Blake. Oh. Keep pressing the left thumb. Uh-oh. The left trigger. Move, 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 move. Stop. Get up. Move.
Can't you crouch?
Probably. I'm still getting the controls down. It escalates quickly, this game. I had a hammer for a while there.
I like that the AI knew to run away from the
Yeah.
thing you threw. They're not just dumb, like they don't just stand there.
Got you. Am I getting any of these guys? Oh, let's blow up this truck. Damn it. There we go. Whoa.
Thing goes up over the side.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Dude right there. Yeah, where is Sam? What is she doing?
She's at her house.
She's being lazy.
Oh, come on, I'm dead. Okay. All right. I need to play this more clearly. I'm not very good at this, but there is a nice taste of Red Faction Guerrilla Re-Mar-tered edition. I am definitely going to be playing more of this, and I will have a review of this title.
Okay, bye everyone.
So far, it's super fun. Thank you, Blake.
Thank you,
And thank you all for joining us. Abby Jameson, a fat chimp. If a game can please both Vic and Blake, you know it's done something good. Yeah, that's a pretty good barometer right there. Blake pretty much fits the critical role that Tommy and Scott fit into. Yeah, it takes a lot to get a big smile out of him, for sure. But you guys know me. I like a lot of video games. I like a lot of things. Thorazine666 popped in to say, Konami equals soulless husks of humans. I don't think it's just that at Konami, but I think you have a point in there for sure. Shenmue 1 and 2 is on Adrian Leon's looking forward to list. Blade Blur's talking about some facts, and he also calls it Blade Blur's useless knowledge. The game was one of Troy Baker's first video game lead roles. Was this one? I wouldn't doubt that. Question: have you ever heard of anything about God of War DLC? Patrick Furtado, I have not heard anything about God of War DLC. That is a big question. I'm sure there is something coming. I can't believe that they would make that epic, massive environment and this huge story and this great narrative and not want to give us a little bit more of that. Okay, you guys. That is it for today. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new EP live for you. Please come back and join us for that. We've also got lots of content for you to check out on our channel. I think you know we have tons and tons of videos. Please comb through them, and if you dig them, hit subscribe, that little bell, and if you're so inclined, that sponsorship button too. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Play forever.